أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear students at home, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We give thanks to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made it possible for us to meet this week, even though the lesson is still going to be virtual. Inshallah, bi qudratullah, sooner than later, it has become a kind of physical meeting. Face to face, I see you, you see me. But for now, we make do with option available, that is online teaching. I remain my humble self, Adeshola Miftahudeen Bamidele. This is week 7. I shall be taking you through animal nutrition. Excuse me. And our topic, as mentioned, is animal nutrition. Food substances. We all understand that all living things need food for their survival and daily activities. While green plants can manufacture their own food via a process referred to as photosynthesis, hence they are called autotrophs. They are called autotrophs simply because they can manufacture their own food through a process referred to as photosynthesis. On the other hand, animals cannot manufacture their food as they depend on plants directly or indirectly for their food, hence are called heterotrophs. We are saying in essence that animals, in which man is one of them, are heterotrophs. We are saying they depend directly or indirectly on plants for survival. This will be very clear to you in the course of this lesson. Animals sometimes are classified according to type of food they eat. On this basis, animals are classified according to the type of food they eat, and on this basis they are classified into 3 groups, namely 1. Carnivorous animals. These animals feed only on flesh. Examples include dog, lion, lizard, snake, cats, and so on. The second class is herbivorous animals. These animals feed only on plants. Examples include goats, cattle, sheep, rabbits, grass cutter, and so on and so forth. Number 3, then we have omnivorous animals. These omnivorous animals, they feed both on plants and animals. In the beginning of the lesson, I was talking about man depending directly or indirectly on green plants. What this means is that the man, as he eats rice, beans, all these are mentioned are plants, vegetables, carrots, and so on. And what have you? All these are plants. So the process of photosynthesis makes these green plants to manufacture their food. This food are stored, and that is what we want, what we consume. On the other hand, man also feeds on animal. The goats, the cattle, also all sort of animals that human feed upon. In the first instance, those animals must have fed on green plants. And it is the green plant they feed upon that gives them a tissue that makes them to be fat. And eventually that is what man eats. In that regard, we can get the picture clearly how man depends directly and indirectly on plants. That is, man eats plants directly, and man also eats what? Eats plants. Man eats goats, but goat in its own case feed on plants. Classification of food substances. All food consumed by animal can be classified or divided into 7 groups of food substances. These include carbohydrates, proteins, fats and oil, mineral salts, vitamins, water, and roughages. The composition, sources, and function of food substance of these food substances shall be discussed one after the other. To start with, carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are the 3 elements that make up carbohydrates. Otherwise, it is also called hydrated carbon. That is the carbon that contains water. It contains hydrogen and oxygen in proportion of ratio 2:1, as in the case with water. And they have general formula. This carbohydrate have general formula CxH2OY. The main sources of carbohydrates include yam, rice, maize, millet, guinea corn, potatoes, bread, garri, etc. Carbohydrates itself are of 3 types. We have monosaccharides. These are referred to as simple sugars. They are the simplest sugar and have only 1 unit of simple sugar. They have the general formula C6, H12, and O6. Examples include glucose, fructose, galactose, and so on. Then we have disaccharides, that is reducing sugars. These contain 2 units of simple sugars and are represented by the formula C12, H22, and O11. That is 12 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 11 atoms of oxygen. Examples of disaccharides include sucrose, maltose, and lactose. The last but not the least, that is polysaccharides. This consists of more than 2 simple sugars or several simple sugars joined together. They are represented by the general formula C6H10O5 bracket N, that is bracket closes, where N represents large number. Examples of disaccharides are starch, cellulose, chitin, and glycogen. Excess carbohydrate is stored in the body in form of glycogen. This is under normal circumstances, especially in the muscles and liver, and it can be converted to glucose during starvation. In a situation whereby there is malfunction of the human metabolism, instead of this excess carbohydrate to be stored, it is excreted along with the urine, and in this case it will present a disease condition referred to as diabetes. That is for another day. Now, importance of carbohydrates. Carbohydrate provides energy required by animals for their daily activities. Carbohydrate provides energy required by animals for their daily activities. It also provides heat. This occurs during its oxidation, used in maintaining the body temperature. That is, when carbohydrate is oxidized, heat is produced, and that is used in maintaining body temperature. Carbohydrates are also used to build certain body parts, e.g., exoskeleton of arthropods. Then mucus, that's function important number 4. Mucus, an important lubricant in our bodies, is composed of carbohydrates. From carbohydrates, we move now to proteins. These are complex molecules and are made up of smaller units called amino acids. Just as we discussed carbohydrates, when carbohydrates is broken down, it is broken down to the simplest form, that is what? The glucose. In the case of protein, it's broken down to give amino acids. Proteins have to be digested to amino acids before they are absorbed in the bodies of animals. The breakdown of proteins during digestion takes place in the following stages. That is, from protein is broken down to peptones. From peptones is broken down to polypeptides. From polypeptides is broken down to give amino acids. Now, protein composition. Protein is composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and even sometimes we have phosphorus and sulfur. Protein sources. Protein are obtained from two broad sources, namely plant source and animal source. That is to say, we have plant protein and we have animal protein. For instance, animal sources include egg, fish, cheese, meat, and chicken. Furthermore, we have plant sources, and these include beans, groundnut, soybean, melon, etc. Importance of protein. Protein is used for the growth of young ones. It is used for the repair of worn-out tissues or cells. Protein aids reproduction. Protein is also used for the production of enzymes. It is also used for the production of hormones. Protein is also used for tissue and cell formation, that is body building. Number 3, fats and oils. These are collectively called lipids. Fats are solid at room temperature, while oils are liquid at room temperature. They are hydrolyzed during digestion to fatty acids and glycerol, which can be absorbed into the lymphatic system. Composition of fats and oils. Fats and oils are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and little oxygen. Sources of fats and oils. These include palm oil, groundnut, soybean oil, melon oil, butter, fish, cheese, margarine, lard, etc. Importance of fats and oils. They provide more energy to animal, even more than carbohydrates. Fats supply essential fatty acids to animal. Fats and oils also provide fat-soluble vitamins. Fats also help in maintenance of body temperature. Inshallah, we shall be calling it a day at this point. Until I come your way next week, I remember humble self, Adesola Miftaudeen Bamidele. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.